Hello, my name is Sydney Coulier, and welcome to another episode of Sydney's on the Clock. Here shooting at none other than Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Now, I know you missed me. We didn't film last week because I was on a business trip, but guess what? Next to me, I have somebody who doesn't need an introduction. Literally the reason why I am working in sports today. None other than Miss Ashley Lovelace.
Oh, you're so sweet. Hey, guys. So happy to be here.
So, Ashley, since this is your first time being on the show, right?
Yeah.
Can you give the audience just a little background of who you are, what you have going on, so they can be familiar with you?
Okay.
Even though you should already be, especially if you live in Baton Rouge and you pay attention to sports here, you should already know who this woman is.
You're so kind. I am Ashley Lovelace. I currently attend Southern University. I graduate December 2024, and I can't wait.
I know that's right.
So excited. I am a mass comm broadcast journalism major, and I work for the Office of Student Media. Mm-hmm. I am currently the editor-in-chief of the Digest newspaper, and I work as a sports journalist, and I report on all things SWAC right now, and I love it. I love it. This is what I want to do with my life. I also have my own platform called the Playbook Powder Room.
Really?
And it's basically just a site in for the girlies who have partners that are into sports, but they aren't, but they want to learn.
Right.
On our level. We
Right.
talk makeup, we talk hair, but they also get the knowledge and to learn the game as well. So that's what that's for.
So where can we view the Powder Room Playbook?
So you can view the Playbook Powder Room on YouTube and on Instagram. Just search Playbook Powder Room and you'll find me.
So now, Ashley, you said that you're going into sports. You've been covering SWAC the past couple seasons, right?
Yeah.
So specifically, where should we see you in the next 5 years?
So in the next 5 years, hopefully, that I will be a correspondent for the NFL. I want to be a sideline reporter. I want to be right in the action. Yeah, that's my passion. That's where I want to be.
So you kind of want to start where Taylor Rick started off doing Thursday Night Football.
Absolutely.
Okay, and do you want to end up having your own show or specifically sideline reporting?
I want to be a sideline reporter. Having my own show would be great. I would love to give athletes a platform to kind of tell their stories. I kind of fell in love with storytelling.
Right.
And I feel like athletes, especially professional ones, are on a platform where they do entertain us.
Right.
I think it's important to kind of really get to know them, kind of get to know the story behind the athlete. So I would love to have a show like that one day. But as for right now, in the action, with the stats, with the analysts, I want to be on the sideline. Yep.
That is amazing to hear. So Miss Ashley Lovelace, do not forget it. But going into our first segment, the NBA Board of Governors have just now voted to change the NBA resting rules.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
I have, and I'm kind of on the fence about it.
Right.
I understand why. I mean, you pay these players a huge sum of money, and people pay tickets to see them play.
Of course.
So when they sit out, you're missing out. The fan experience is missing out on seeing that player, right? But at the same time, resting rules preserve your top dollar players. It preserves their bodies, their health. So kind of minimizing that and monitoring when they can be rested and when they can't is going to take a toll at the end of the day on these players. So I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to turn out.
So specifically for those who don't know, is specifically what we're talking about, right? So the NBA has always had an issue with load management.
Right.
And load management specifically is a term where teams sit out an uninjured player specifically so they can rest. So to get a hold of this, the Board of Governors, like I had just said, they voted to basically put a cap on it.
Right.
So here is what goes into it. It has to be a star player, an all-star, or a person named to an all-NBA team within the past 3 seasons. Yeah. Only one star player, because multiple teams have multiple star players. Things Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, we see that, right?
Right.
So only one star player can rest per game, and players must be available for nationally televised games.
Yes.
And now, the NBA has just now started the in-season tournament.
Right.
So actually, let's get into that, the in-season tournament. So normally, in other sports, you see that. See, especially in soccer. You see that in soccer, because soccer is a big sport. It's like, in the U.S., we have the NBA, and we have other teams worldwide, but soccer is the biggest sport in the world.
Internationally, absolutely.
Right. And so with soccer, they have the league champions, and then they have the world champions, which normally is your FIFA World Cups, which is every 4 years. So how do you feel that the NBA has now implemented this in-season tournament, so now more towards December, November, we'll actually get to see our teams play against each other head to head for another title.
I think it's exciting, but I don't know how it's going to compete with football season.
Of course.
It overlaps with football, and I'm a football girly, but I think it'll be great for our basketball fans that love basketball, that want to see basketball all year round. It gives them another opportunity. But in terms of competing for airtime in between football season, it might come up with some problems.
So mixed with both, especially with load management going on in the in-season tournament, do you feel like players are going to be most susceptible to injuries now?
The more you play, the more susceptible you are to injuries. That's just the math. 1 + 1 will always equal 2. The more you play, the more you're at risk, and the more you are putting on your body.
All right. Well, that is not all, folks. Stay tuned for the next segment at Sydney's on the Clock. This is Sydney Coulier.
And Ashley Lovelace.
And we will be right back.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Very few vehicles develop a community of ownership like the Mazda Miata. But why? Well, maybe it's because Mazda's been building the Roadster for over 25 years, and there's never been a bad one. Or maybe it's because the Mazda Miata's been universally praised since its inception as one of the most fun cars to drive for the money. If you're looking for fun, affordability, and reliability, come see our Mazda Miata selection today and experience for yourself why Miata is always the answer. At Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
I'm Gary Rasponi. I'm running for Lieutenant Governor in the state of Louisiana. Why do I think I can do a good job? Or even better than the current Lieutenant Governor? Because I've covered more of the state in 20 years. Y'all either see me in a boat, in a duck blind, at a festival. If you want to find out more about me and what I've done all my life, look me up, GaryRasponi.com.
I am Sydney Coulier, also known as the sports journalist, and we are back for another segment of none other than Sydney's on the Clock. Next to me, I have
Ashley Lovelace,
who we just talked to, in the first segment. So now, Ashley.
Yes.
Major League Baseball.
I love baseball. My dad played baseball.
Really?
And high school and college. He was a Hall of Famer, played for LaSalle University. So baseball's in my blood. I love baseball.
So is baseball basically your first introduction to sports? Because I know basketball was mine.
Baseball was not my first introduction. Actually, soccer was. I played soccer for 11 years. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So your father didn't shove baseball down your throat? Because that's really how it was.
He tried to, and he was really heartbroken because none of us wanted to play. So it ended up being his thing, and rightfully so, yeah.
Okay, now going into, we have Shohei Ohtani, the Los Angeles Angels wonder boy, who is also regarded, or at least controversial speaking, one of the best players to ever grace the sport of baseball.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into him, How do you feel as if nostalgia plays a sense into the conversation of the best of all time or the greatest of all time?
I feel like it's different with generations.
Definitely.
Everybody has their go-to player that they remember, that they point back to when they say, oh, this player was the greatest of all time. It really depends on what era I think you come up in. I mean, you can always argue stats and numbers, but there's no comparison as time goes on because competitions change, talent changes.
Of course.
So I feel like it's hard to kind of put that heavy of a title on somebody.
You think so? Even
I do.
if they have the stats to back it up. Because a lot of the time, especially, you say it's kind of hard to put that title on somebody, but a lot of these people, especially in terms of baseball, they have been playing since they were 3-4 years
Absolutely.
old. Going through camps, going through the minor leagues, going through different things. So you don't think that they're, like, certain people are deserving of that title, even though sometimes, like, okay, let's put it this way. Do you feel like an active player can hold the title of somebody being the greatest of all time?
I think an active player can hold the title, but I always feel like somebody's coming up behind them.
Of course.
So it's short-lived. When you say the greatest of all time, we're talking like timeless.
Right.
Surpasses all time. Like we're talking the
when
greats.
think of baseball, one of the people that automatically just rings in my head is Babe Ruth, of course.
Babe Ruth, Jackie Robinson.
Number 42.
You're thinking of people, the names that we call time and time and time again.
The names of people who haven't even played the sport are synonymous with. So maybe in the future we'll see Ohtani being one of those as well.
Possibly.
However, going into that, he has actually been or currently going through rehab for a torn UCL, and you know, because he plays both sides. He plays pitcher and he also plays as a hitter. And especially with him being so big of a player and his contract with the Angels coming up, he was supposed to be negotiating, especially going into free agency, $500 million contract.
Right.
With him not being a pitcher because he's not supposed to pitch again until 2025, how does that affect his free agency?
I feel like injuries themselves are going to affect a contract in general, but because of the injury he has, a torn ligament in your elbow, pitching or hitting is going to affect you. It's going to affect you. So that price point that they had with him being perfectly healthy, I see that number going down drastically.
So
he's a liability.
Oh, of course he's a liability, but do you think, how would I say this? Okay, where do you see, or what team do you see picking him up sometime soon?
I don't see him staying with the Angels.
Oh, not at all.
I don't see him staying with the Angels. I wouldn't mind. I'm a Sox fan. I wouldn't mind seeing him come there. I wouldn't mind. A little biased, but I wouldn't mind seeing him play for the Padres.
Really? You think he'll be a good asset?
I think he would.
Especially in his current,
I think. With some rehab, he would add to the team.
Since you mentioned earlier, a lot of the time, whenever you have the greatest of all time, you have somebody coming right after them.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Ellie De La Cruz, who currently plays for the Reds. What have you been seeing about this superstar lately?
He's young.
Very.
He's only 21. He's got some fire behind him.
He came from, I know they took him out of the Dominican Republic.
Yep.
And then from the Dominican Republic, he was playing with the Reds minor league team. He was there for about, I believe, 2-3 seasons until he finally got brought up.
Yeah. And that's the way to go, honestly. And the way the system works, I'm glad that they're pulling people from their minor league teams to the roster. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do.
I can say, at least talking to people in the area and everything, Ellie De La Cruz is one of those generational players that you're going to see in the future, especially because the type of fire he brings to baseball.
Yeah.
Because a lot of baseball players, a lot of the time, like we mentioned earlier when we were talking, it's a longevity game.
It is.
So, of course, you're not, especially with the amount of games baseball plays. Baseball plays the most games versus any other season.
Absolutely.
So, when you see somebody going out like him, literally, he had home. He was, believe he was the first person to hit 2 home runs within his MLB debut.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, do you have anybody else you see within the baseball realm coming up, making a little noise?
Currently right now, he's at the forefront of my eye point. I want to see what he's going to do. I want to see what he's going to do for the Reds, because the Reds haven't really been...
No, he's been their star player, especially with that cycle he hit. That was insane.
But I'm glad they're getting the traction that they're getting with him, because normally we don't hear from him, from him, talent-wise.
Well, that is not all. With Sydney's on the clock, we'll be right back after commercial break.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Get huge savings all summer long with the Buy Here, Sell Here program at the Team Automotive Group. Sell your vehicle to us and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get Team VIP service at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements. And that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
I'm Sydney Couye, and
I'm Ashley Lovelace.
And we are back with no other than Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. So, Ashley.
Yes, ma'am.
Prime time. That's what we're going into
get
next.
into
Mr.
it.
Deion Sanders.
Yes.
So, okay. We specifically have personal opinions with Deion, especially because we go to school in the SWAC.
Yes.
So we've seen what happened before, he already had a spotlight casted on him. It's prime time.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best cornerbacks ever.
Yeah.
To play in the league.
Yeah.
Arguably. And now going into a head coach role. We saw what he did at Jackson State.
Yeah.
What is going on with the Deion Sanders effect? Because it's not just the people, it's all the news outlets. Everybody just can't get enough of prime time.
I mean, he's got a big personality, so big personalities draw a lot of attention, and rightfully so. Deion talks a big game, but he can back it up. He always has been that type of person. I just think that we might have given a little bit too much prematurely, especially him coaching a Power 5 team that wasn't doing so well last season.
Colorado only won one game
and
they won one game going into the top 25 this next season, preseason, and then now this season. Yeah. And now they've actually dropped out the 25, especially with their game with Oregon. They shouldn't have been in the top 25 in the first place.
I don't believe they should have been in the top 25 in the first place.
It was too much hype.
Yeah, and this game against Oregon, I don't understand why everybody was so excited, or I guess surprised at the way Colorado played against Oregon, because at the end of the day, it's Oregon.
My point exactly.
It's Oregon.
Here's my thing with Colorado and Oregon, right? So I feel as if Colorado is a great team. Of course, we've seen Deion has definitely made a change.
Absolutely.
However, when I've seen the at least the pre-game stats, when they were talking about 36 to 40 and this and that, they gave Colorado too much. Oregon won too big. All their players are gigantic compared to Colorado, and not just that, Colorado's O-line.
But you're also forgetting that at the core of it, you're playing a number 9 seed,
of course,
nationally ranked, and at the time, Colorado was only sitting at 19.
Right.
So the gap right there.
It's a big gap.
You're expecting to play some big competition, and I'm glad that Oregon came in with some heat, and because they were like, "This Cinderella story is over." Coach was not playing.
You see Dan Lanning?
Coach was not playing, and you know what? I'm happy that they come with that energy because it's necessary, and they showed up and showed out. Oregon was just the better team.
They were.
They were.
At the end of the day, they definitely were, especially in terms of Oregon. Though they really, honestly and truly, they tried to make an example out of Colorado.
It's Deion swallowing humble pie right now.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
You saw with all the pregame conferences and the interviews and everything. Dan Lanning had it out for Deion Sanders. It wasn't just for Oregon. It was for Deion Sanders in general. Yeah. So especially with him coming into of course, like a Power 5 team with a lot of coaches who feel like he definitely doesn't, or at least from what I've seen, that he doesn't deserve to be there. How do you feel as if, that's in terms of coachability with coaches who've been there for years and somebody who kind of not necessarily got handed a team like that, but he definitely worked for it?
I don't think he got handed a team because I think people forget that Deion went into the league. He didn't finish out at Florida State. Right. Came out of Florida State, went pro. After he retires, comes back, tries to go back to Florida State to finish his degree. Gets told no.
Right.
Talladega then comes in and says, okay, we'll help you get your degree. Graduates from Talladega with a degree in organizational management. Then he goes back to Florida State because he wants to coach.
Right.
Absolutely not. They said no. Where does he go? Jackson State gives him an opportunity. They gave him an opportunity, and he did wonders there. And I think when the world watched him do not just athletically, but organizationally what he did at Jackson State, it spoke boundaries. So then you get a team that was struggling like Colorado. Of course they're going to welcome Coach Prime with open arms because they know that he's not just going to inspire and coach these players properly, but he's going to get this program together organizationally. And I feel like that's more or less what Colorado was vying for, and they're going to get that with Deion. No shade, no tea, but that's what they're going to get with him. So now that he's there and he was able to come out, win some games.
Right.
You get hit with a big timer like Oregon, and now you get a slice of the humble pie. Like, this isn't the SWAC anymore, sweetheart. This is the big time.
FCS versus FBS are two completely different.
Two completely different things.
And I also feel as if a lot of the, at least I'm not going to say hate, but a lot of the controversy that came with Deion being a head coach, or at least with the other head coaches, is due to the fact that one thing I can say with Deion can relate to these players.
Absolutely.
We seen Deion when Deion was prime time, still is prime time. But that 10 to 2000 when he was both playing two major league sports at once. At once. We saw him with the blinged out chains. We saw him with the blinged out earrings, the hats, the glasses. That's always been Deion.
The culture,
He's always been true to himself. So especially when you're going into when you're going into a sport where a lot of the people look exactly like you, of course they're going to gravitate towards you. A lot of these boys, I'm not going to say a lot of them, but you have times where this is all they have.
Yeah. It's their release. Absolutely.
Their release.
Absolutely.
So, of course, when they see somebody, okay, he literally is my idol, doing exactly what I want to do, of course you're going to gravitate to him because they're all like, he understands.
Yeah.
A lot of these head coaches, as good as they are, they haven't played or they haven't been in those situations that a lot of these boys are doing.
I mean, they haven't, but track record will speak for itself. These other FCF coaches have longevity. They have time. They have experience in coaching at this level that Deion doesn't have.
Right.
So just because Deion came in as he is Coach Prime, he's still a student of the game always.
Which is true. Which is true. He has a lot to learn. But what I can say, that is not it. We have one more second here with Sydney's on the clock. Please stay tuned after commercial.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
I'm Gary Rasponi. I'm running for Lieutenant Governor in the state of Louisiana. Why do I think I can do a good job? Or even better than the current Lieutenant Governor? Because I've covered more of the state in 20 years. Y'all either see me in a boat, in a duck blind, at a festival. If you want to find out more about me and what I've done all my life, look me up, GaryRasponi.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Welcome back. I am Sydney Couye, also known as the sports journalist, with another viewing of Sydney's On the Clock. With me, I have Miss Ashley Lovelace, who has been just an amazing star and guest star to have. I thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
Ashley.
having me.
So we are two black women.
Yes, we are.
In a space like this. Mm-hmm. That is almost, that wasn't heard of a couple years ago.
At all.
How does it feel to see now how much the sports industry is changing in terms of diversity and inclusion?
It's surreal. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm just glad to be in the place. I'm blessed.
Where do you think it's going to go? Like, again, it's going to get even 10 times better when it's going to be 10 times better as the time goes on. Where do you see sports industry in terms of sportscasters viewing? Do you see it all basically going to women predominantly? Because I can say women have definitely...
Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit, and I can't wait to see what it's going to be.
Well, this has been Sydney Couye and Miss
Ashley Lovelace
with Sydney's On the Clock. Stay tuned for another episode and another viewing, and y'all have a great day.